Good day, everyone. This is Pine Needles, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO and on the tabletop. And please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Draculita.
Hey now, everybody. How's it going?
Hello there, Drac. How are things going over in Barovia?
It's all weird because we switch nights and then we're switching days again because I had a schedule conflict and everything is timey-wimey and weird and this is so bizarre.
Timey-wimey.
And I'm getting a snowstorm, so it's great.
Well,
it's great.
Are you sure it's a snowstorm and not a time storm?
Oh, see? Now you're blowing my mind, Pine Leaf. Boom!
Boom! Yes, well, that's what we need to start this episode. Or either that, or we need to talk about patch notes, because we have Update 41, Patch 2, and I suspect that this isn't anything all that big.
I guess it depends. I guess it depends on your point of view. We'll put it that way. Yeah, this released last Tuesday. The Bard got some visual and sound effects updates. They are no longer causing client lag and other visual stutters, which that is always a good thing. There was some enhancement work as well. Animations for the following Vistani Knife Fighter dual dagger animations will now properly scale with attack speed, attacking while sneaking, mobile attacks, cleave, and the whirlwind attack. And you know what? I forgot to name the show in Mixler, so people are probably really confused at what is going on right now. So... welcome, Sam Burke. You're probably confused because I know you usually listen to Lotro Players News and you're like, what is going on right now? So yes.
Well,
sorry
yes,
about that.
it is a possibility.
Sorry about that. I didn't in my excitement to get the show starting, I forgot to name the show in Mixler. So surprise! This is not Lotro Players News. back to the patch news notes. The Eldritch Knight Orb saves now properly grants its spell power, and it's no longer granting effects it was not intended to.
What was it giving them?
I don't know, but see, now I'm sad because I want to know what I missed out on. It was probably something cool.
Something cool.
The Eldritch Knight Mystic Wards also no longer gives out an unattended level of elemental resistance. So, boo.
But that depends on whether... Oh, I was feeling by an unattended levels meant it was giving out too much.
Yeah, I do. That's how I read it. I think it was.
Okay.
I think it was giving you a little boosty, and it wasn't supposed to. And also in the Eldritch Knight, looks like that's what got most of the love here. The Spell Sword no longer drops Dwarven Axe proficiency from dwarves when your genus changes. For example, when you turn undead, you can still use your axe proficiency. So that's probably handy.
Okay.
Hirelings, the Bard Hireling. I don't think I have ever used a Bard Hireling. I think one time I did, but that was like on accident because I thought it was a cleric and I opened it and I'm like, ah, crap, this is the Bard.
I actually did use a Bard Hireling once. I can't remember why or whatever, but I believe that I avoid them for the same reason I avoid sorcerers, and that is they like to do things like this one like to do oil slicks or something.
Yep. We all know you and the good old oil slick.
Yes.
See one of our very first episodes if you're confused about what we're talking about. Hey, look, I can name the show on the fly on Mixler. I didn't realize I could do that. That's
You
fun.
didn't know you could do that.
Well, that's fun.
And then Sam Burke saw what you called it and ran away.
Apparently, because he left. Oh, well. Wah, wah.
He wanted to go back to listen to Winter stuff.
Okay. Let's see. The items, they also got some updates too. In the Killing Time raid, the loot can now be properly updated by the Reacquire Raid Loot Barter Box. Say that several times fast. Fixed the flavor text for the commas found in the Lost at Sea quest. Armors with the so-called, and I'm going to say this exactly like it is in the patch notes, quote, skirt unquote, appearances no longer ignore the color data. This will update the colors of several armors, including the Temple of Elemental Evil medium armor. Then quest and adventure areas, that got a little bit of work as well. The green slime in White Plume Mountain can once again be destroyed by a fireball.
Okay.
Rude slime being fireball resistance. Rude. Work has also been done to prevent erroneous red dungeon alert in several quests. We probably could have used that in our playthrough. Spoiler alert for later in the show. Fixed an issue that was causing twice as many monsters to appear on Epic Hard and Elite difficulty in the Thrask Arena quest. Fixed an encounter in the House of Death Undone that caused orange/red to occur without appropriate provocation. Also fixed an issue that was causing multiple wave spawns to overlap in the Belly of the Beast quest. Numerous dungeon alert issues in Thrill of the Hunt due to monsters being aggroed behind the closed doors. And the several retired trophy and bounty related messages will no longer appear in the /quest completion command. And you know, that brings up a new point. I have never done the /quest completion command ever in my whole entire time with DDO. I
must admit that I don't think I even knew it existed.
I knew it was there, but it's just like, I mean, I can just open up my compendium and see the ones I've done, so it's like,
So what does it show you?
The quest that you've completed. Which is, like I said, it's kind of redundant because you can see that in the compendium. So
yeah, maybe if you...
I don't know why you would...
Because if you could list it out into the chat box, that means if you set the chat box to write out to a file, then you could write out your quest completions out to a file.
See, Pine Leaf logic. This fourth case of the year already. Pine Leaf logic.
Well, you'll get about probably 52 examples years over.
At this point, I don't even keep track anymore. And I think the biggest thing in this patch, they did correct an issue that was causing the item buyback repository to not properly clean itself over time. So if you looked in your item buyback on a vendor and you noticed a crap ton of stuff in there, that should all be gone now. It wasn't deleting itself properly, and they have since now fixed that.
You mean it also wasn't giving the limit? Because I thought there would be like in Lotro where there'd be a limit of 20 items or something like that.
I don't know. I had a ton. I didn't count how many there were, but I'm pretty sure I had way more than 20 in there. Okay. But that is such now fixed with our update 41, patch 2.
Then let's go and look at Dragon Plus Magazine, who has featured DDO. What, you mean they know that we exist?
I know. I was as shocked as you were. This issue actually came out in December, and I saw that I had the little update on my iPad that said, hey, there's a new Dragon Plus magazine for you. And I had downloaded it right when I seen it, and I just completely forgot about it. So the other night I was like, let me take a look at that Dragon Plus, because let's be honest, Dragon Plus is basically just a advertisement for everything that WOTC has coming out. That's really all it is. But it's cool, it's fun, it's free. You can get it on your iPad or on the PC. So
and they have Rudolph on the cover?
Yeah. I said it came out in December, so there you go.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess you got a point there. But this map of Sharn.
Yeah, well, that actually wasn't in there. That was I just found that because spoilers. I am not to that point yet, Pine Leaf. Jeez, you're spoiling the whole article, Pine Leaf. No, so I'm going through this Dragon Plus issue, and lo and behold, I see Dungeons and Dragons Online, and I was like, what? As you said, WOTC knows we exist. What? So I read it. And yeah, there is a pretty good interview in here with the executive producer, Severlin, and product and brand manager, Tolero, which I had no idea that was her official title. about they talk about the game, they talk about the anniversary coming up, talk about making classic packs, and they talk a little bit about Sharn. And that is where it got pretty exciting, because they dropped a little bit of Sharn news that I hadn't heard before, so I'm pretty sure this was the first time this has been announced. Seb says, villains that are characters rather than monsters. Not that there won't be plenty of stuff like that dwelling in the cogs for the players to find and maybe get eaten by. And then he goes on to say, Sharn will have a lot of raid content, but will also have more exploratory content in the cogs that's a little different. Not only will you have dungeons in the main storyline, but you'll also be able to explore the cogs and will have more surprising encounter. And that we kind of knew, because if you remember the interview that we did with them at the Gen Con party when they first announced Sharn, he kind of talked about the cogs and how you're going to go down and question the cog. But this is where it got interesting. The Tolero says about this, it's a bit of a departure. Traditionally, players are used to interacting with a collection of quest givers who tell them which dungeons they can visit, and then that lets them know these dungeons are just sitting there. But having a space where they can just roam around and find opportunities for adventures themselves. Adventures they may not know the exact location of or when they'll be available. Adds another option for play.
Sounds more like an Elder Scroll thing than a DDO thing.
That's exactly what I thought. And that's, it's funny because that's exactly what I thought. I'm like, wow, that sounds like kind of like what Elder Scrolls Online does. So yeah, so it sounds like we're going to get a little bit of exploring, and then you might just find a quest giver out in the middle of nowhere, maybe, or you might stumble onto a dungeon, or it'll be interesting. But yeah, you should go ahead and read this whole article. I've linked it. If you have like a Android device or an iPad, iPhone, any Apple device or Android device, you can download the app and then download this issue and read it. Or if you want, you can just click right on the link that I provide over on the article, and that'll take you right to it on your PC. It's a pretty interesting article, and the big thing, I think, is just that WOTC is actually acknowledging Dungeons & Dragons Online for once.
Yay!
Yes, it is a big step for us, and I had a little tear in my eye as I was reading this. I was like, they like us. They really like us. We're not the redheaded stepchild anymore. They like us.
Should we go to the Chronicle now?
We should.
All right. We have the Chronicle issue 317, where we have some people just standing there in line.
I guess. They're just like, hey, what's up? Almost it's the start of a joke. A dwarf, elf, a warforged, a human, and a drow are standing in a line. You finished the punchline. So yeah, weird cover for the Chronicle this week, but okay. We do have our community spotlight, and that's spotlighted D&D Splat 1.4. That, of course, is the D&D on the D&D night on DDO stream. One of these days, I'm going to get that right and not screw that up. Every time I say that, I screw that up for some reason. D&D night on DDO stream. I don't know why I have so much problems with that. This is, of course, Patrick's game. It's one that I'm playing in, as well as Rent and Tay, and Mythery, and Subjade, and Lessa, and I think that's every. Oh, and Nobob from Standing Stone Games is also playing it as well. So we're having a lot of fun with that. You can see us take on the Outpost and see if we manage to take it back over and get the merchant into the Outpost, which is what our main goal was. Hilarity ensues. I'll talk a little more about that later on in the show too. And then make sure you watch the final Shroud Palooza of the year that took place over on Cannith. So Shroud Palooza is done for the year. Hopefully they will start that up again. Stay tuned for that. We also, of course, have our fan site news section. We got a shout out for our episode last week, kick-starting January. Makes sense if you listen to the episode. Hedrick is back to blogging again. Again, say that a couple times fast. A fun little trinket is what he's talking about. DDO Cast had their part 2 of their 2018 in review. Brighter Days Ahead, of course, streaming over on DDO Stream. FreeDO is up to episode 13. I Am Legend. That, of course, is with Psycho Blonde. Don't forget about Brock and Friends. Get your role play on over on DDO Stream as well. Fridays on Ice is up to episode 110 with Baklagor. So congratulations to him for breaking the 100 barrier. And a Bard's Life with Doug Glendower and also Alex and Lynn. All those are DDO streamers, so you can catch up with them and watch their latest episodes by clicking over in the Chronicle. We do have our Chronicle comments.
Ooh.
What is one item you might find in a mage's library?
What I think of this isn't this going to get an obvious answer of spell tome?
You would think, yes.
Yeah.
That would be the obvious answer.
So do you have a non-obvious answer?
The non-obvious answer, I think, would be a fireplace.
A fireplace?
Maybe.
What, to hopefully not to burn the pages of your books.
Well, no, you can sit by the fire and read your magical tomes.
Yes, I guess you could do that, because I would have thought that a magical library, they would have something more sophisticated than a standard fireplace in there.
Again, Pine Leaf logic.
Twice in one episode.
I know, I'm telling you. We're really outdoing ourselves this episode. Dang. So, do you have a non-obvious answer other than a spell tome?
Anything other than a spell tome? Well, then, how about a litter box for the familiar?
Ooh, see, good answer. See, if we were on Family Feud right now, everybody would be going, "Good answer, good answer, good answer."
And the survey says,
well then. We'll just move right into the screenshot of the week, and that is Tiggle is capturing the eerie feel of Wayloon Prison, and that's the 398th DDO screenshot of the week, and I guarantee you that's probably the first time Pine Leaf has ever seen that, because he does not do Wayloon.
Well, we have done Wayloon a couple of occasions.
Well, I guess so. You usually find some way to skip it somehow, though.
Well, yes, there is that little detail. I'm sure we'll think of some way. Yes. Let's head into our store sales then, and there is not going to be any way to get out of that one.
There is a boost, though. It's a Get a Boost sale this week. 20% off the Sovereign XP Elixirs, Treasure Hunter Elixirs, Greater Slayer Boost, Long-Lasting Supreme Ability Potions, all at 20% off in the DDO store, and that runs now through January the 24th. The weekly coupon is going to get you a Bell of Opening. Use the coupon code OPENLOCK, also now through January 24th. And the DDO bonus days, we forgot to talk about that in the game news, but we'll just throw it in here, is a 10% VIP XP weekend. VIP players, that is going to get an additional 10% VIP experience for a total of 20% XP now through Monday, January the 21st. Get out and quest.
Oh, yeah. I guess I'm used to the other show where we put the bonus days with the store sales.
Yeah, see, I guess we could do that, but to me that's really not a store thing. But I guess
I will try to remember that in the future.
But either way.
But anyway, 10% VIP bonus. Oh, that could be useful. Then let's go and see what's coming in from the dungeon. Because Modiphius is taking pre-orders for their new set for the Star Trek RPG, which looks vaguely like a Borg cube.
Yeah, this thing is insane. This is like the ultimate collector's edition. So if you're into Star Trek, you're into the Borg, you want a Borg cube box set for your Star Trek adventure role-playing game. This includes the collector's edition core rulebook, 3 dice sets featuring the Command, Sciences, and Operation dice, Threat and Monument token set, a poster, a reference cards, the Star Trek Adventure Game Master screen with a Borg hull outer design, so it's all Borgy. This is all Borg all the time in this set if you didn't catch that before. A forum tray for the range of collectible Star Trek minis that you're going to be using, and the entire Star Trek Adventure PDF collection also included in this crazy set. Pre-orders are up for this now, so head over to the Modiphius website and pre-order.
And how much does this assimilating thing cost?
I want to say it's like $200. It's really expensive. And I just noticed I forgot to put the link to it in the show notes, so I will have to fix that before I release this episode. But yeah, give me just 1 second and I'll tell you for sure. But I'm pretty sure it is like crazy expensive. Give me just 1 second.
Crazy expensive.
If my internet cooperates, I can tell you. It is, okay, it's 200 British pounds. So it's going to cost you more.
Pounds?
It's going to cost you more because you're going to have to convert that.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So according to Google, it will cost you $257.66.
That's
a bit much. But like I said, if you're the ultimate Star Trek fan and you love the Star Trek role-playing game, this is what you want. But $257. You really got to be the Star Trek fan.
Yeah. Let's go and see what's on the tabletop. And we will begin with Gen Con, where badges are now on sale. And
yay, badges! Yes.
Yay.
Went on sale Sunday, so hop over and get them before they sell out, like they have been for the past couple years. So you can get the 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, or the 4 day badges available now over on GenCon.com. And I applied for my press pass because you have to wait until badges go on sale before you can apply for your press pass. And I got an email back from them just this week.
Okay.
We've been approved. So we're going back to Gen Con to cover Gen Con 2019. And part of that coverage might be Fantasy Flight Games because they're going to be at Gen Con in a big way this year.
Apparently they're even sponsoring.
Yeah, they've sponsored the last couple of years, and it's kind of gotten bigger every year, and it sounds like this year it's really going to be big. They're going to get more space, so the Fantasy Flight booth, which takes up a good chunk of the entrance to the vendor hall, apparently is going to take up more space now.
It'll have its own room in front of
pretty much. They were already the biggest booth, and it sounds like they're getting a bigger booth. And you're going to see posters, and you're going to see banners, and you're going to see Fantasy Flight Games, everything all around Gen Con.
Well, they'll need a room for their life-size replica of the Mansions of Madness.
Hey, there you go. So yes, Fantasy Flight Games and Asmodee Group have announced, along with Gen Con, they are very pleased to be a co-sponsor of Gen Con over the next 3 years. Gen Con is one of the premier events in tabletop gaming industry, and we have enjoyed a long and mutual beneficial relationship with the convention, says Aaron Elliott, who is the Vice President of Marketing for Asmodee North America. So prepare to see Fantasy Flight everything at Gen Con.
Now, let me see. So what is this? Is the room is going to be half Fantasy Flight and half Asmodee?
You know, It's kind of weird how they do it. I asked Gen Con this question, and the press people did write back to me, and they said the sponsorship is just for Fantasy Flight. Asmodee technically paid for it, but Fantasy Flight is the one that is sponsoring. Of course, they are a member of the Asmodee group because Asmodee owns them, but
right.
So yeah, so it's weird, yeah. I think last year on a couple of the banners, like down in the corner, there was just a little teeny tiny Asmodee logo. So that's probably what they're going to do again. You're just going to see a little teeny Asmodee here and there, but then Asmodee's booth is usually huge too. It rivals pretty much Fantasy Flight's too. But
well, it would have to have seen that.
I was going to say, of course, Asmodee knows. Yeah, Asmodee owns everything, basically. Quick, name one game company Asmodee doesn't own.
Steve Jackson?
Give them time, they probably will see.
So I'm sure they have. I would have they done any Asmodee-ish versions of Munchkin?
Off the top of my head, no.
I am of course ignoring Munchkin to Cthulhu since that isn't.
Right.
That was the generic Cthulhu that they did, not an Asmodee, not a Fantasy Flight or Chaosium version of it.
Yeah, I don't. I'd have to look, but I think no. That might be the one and only thing that has not been turned into anything Munchkin. But then again, give Steve Jackson games time. They'll work on it.
And I would presume that they will feature predominantly the Lord of the Rings, Journeys in Middle-earth, a board game, which is coming from Fantasy Flight Games.
One would assume yes. Okay, let's just take this in a moment and say how insanely awesome this looks.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Yeah, I was watching a video that was on Board Games Geek where someone's giving his analysis of what we see in these various items in here. So yeah, it looks like it's going to be yeah, $100. Actually, I think I'd rather pay $100 for this than $200 for a board cube.
Exactly, me too. Yeah, this is the Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle-earth. It's a fully cooperative app-supported board game that is going to blend exploration and combat for 1 to 5 players. Over the course of the game, a fellowship of heroes will explore the wilds of Middle-earth in a 14-chapter campaign. A smartphone/tablet app will serve as your dungeon master, controlling the monsters and guiding the narrative along at key intervals. So think of how they do Mansions of Madness 2nd Edition, how they do Descent.
Yeah, I just hope that when they say smartphone/tablet, they also have a /Steam there, which
I would think they would.
Madness
because all the other games have Steam, so I would not be surprised. It might be a little while before it's released, but I can't see them not doing it because that just opens up another audience.
Right, because I know that I find dealing with an iPad as a side app, I just find it fiddly to do, so it's a whole lot more convenient for me to do it through Steam than it is through the. Now I know there are a lot of people out there where it's 10 times probably at least easier to do it on an iPad. In my case, it's easier to do it on Steam.
Right. This is a little different than, like I said, I mentioned Mansions of Madness and Descent. This is done a little different, though. The gameplay is going to be split between 2 different boards. There's a journey map board where you're going to gradually explore around, and then there's a battle map. And what can happen is you might be exploring around and you come across like an orc camp. And then you're going to switch over to the battle map, and then you're going to resolve your combat. And speaking of combat and skill checks, that's a little different too. There's no dice in this game.
Yeah, that is a little bit different in there.
Journeys in Middle-earth is going to have a skill deck whenever a player makes a skill check to overcome some sort of obstacle, you're going to draw cards from your skill deck equal to one of the character's 5 stats, depending on which character you're playing. And then you can also use cards from their skill deck to boost certain abilities at the cost of removing them from the deck. Over the course of the campaign, players are going to build up your skill deck. You're going to swap out cards, replace cards, depending on what role you want to take for the specific adventure that you're on.
Yeah. Now, this has a couple of things that it reminds me of. First of all, going to a battle mat from a campaign mat reminds me of something for Too Many Bones, but obviously Too Many Bones, based on the name, you can know, does have dice.
Yeah, that's like all dice all the time.
Yeah, that one's all dice all the time, and dice and chips. On this one, this has someone was telling me that video I was just talking about. The person was had him thinking about Gloomhaven, because in Gloomhaven you have these skill decks that you
you do.
That's right. Of the campaign. Yes.
I mean, so I've been told. I still don't have Gloomhaven. Cry. Boo.
Well, it's a bit.
I still can't believe you own.
I've only gotten through 1 or 2 scenarios on it, if I remember correctly, out of the 100 that are in there. So that shows you how often I got it out.
Well, I still can't believe you own Gloomhaven, because you're like one of the less space a game takes up, the better.
Yes.
Like, okay, that's the complete end of the spectrum with Tiny Game and Gloomhaven. Yes. And I'm pretty sure this game is going to take up a lot of table space too. But this will be available the second quarter of 2019. It's available for pre-order now. $100 MSRP. I want this. I want it. My precious.
I want it, precious.
Mm-hmm.
I want it. I'm obviously... Maybe I should get myself a new gaming table.
Yeah.
Or I should say assemble the one I've got.
Whoa. Breaking news here on DDO Players News. Pine Leaf has a game table? What?
Yeah, but as I said, it needs a little bit of assembly.
Oh, I see.
First, choose a place to put it, then get it assembled.
Some assembly required.
Some assembly required, yes.
But yeah, look for this, as I said, second quarter of 2019. It looks amazing, from Fantasy Flight Games, Lord of the Rings, Journeys in Middle-earth. But anybody wants to buy a kidney, I'll be selling mine so I can buy this. So just throwing that out there.
Oh, boy. Then let's go. And is Restoration Games on my Asmodee?
No, surprisingly not.
Oh, right.
Again, give them time. I'm sure it'll happen.
Restoration Games announces Conspiracy, the Solomon Gambit. And this is apparently coming out at Origins?
Yeah, which is a little different for Restoration Games, because they usually do all their stuff on Kickstarter, but this one is not going to be Kickstarted. And this is, of course, based off the game Conspiracy, which everybody raise your hand that's heard of that. I'm not raising my hand. I've never heard of this game ever. People are really excited, so apparently other people have heard of this game. I just must have missed this somehow.
Somehow we completely missed it.
The original let's try that again. Another time. The original Conspiracy was designed by Dr. Eric Solomon, and it featured a truly unique mechanic. Players move secret agents around the board, trying to bring the mysterious briefcase back to their headquarters to win the game. But here's the twist. The agents don't belong to any of the players. Instead, players secretly pay the agents. If another player wanted to challenge a move, they would then reveal how much they had paid off the agent to decide the outcome. This combination of blind bidding and shared pieces found its way into other games such as Kremlin and Nothing Personal, two other games that I have never heard of.
Well, let's see. But Nothing Personal. Well, I know that Nothing Personal was. See, that was designed by Tom Vassell.
Probably why I've never heard of it. My friends are laughing right now. That is an inside joke with us. My friends are laughing so hard right now. The inside joke is Tom Vassell is my gaming arch nemesis. So my friends are laughing. Long story on how that got started.
Okay, so that's all right. 1973. That's been around for a pretty long time.
Yeah, never heard of this game. But Restoration Games, of course, did make some subtle changes to the game, as they always do. One of the things they did was they cut the number of agents down from 8 to 6, and that's going to increase player interaction. They also added a train station to make movement a little easier, and they created a virtual symmetry that will accommodate any player count. Each agent now also has a special power that activates when they are moved, so players will need to account for that effect when deciding who to bid on and when to challenge a move. But one of the biggest changes, they say, do come in the end game. And then they named it Conspiracy, the the Solomon Gambit, after the original Dr. Solomon, because it turns out they tracked him down, and he is apparently pretty sick, I guess. He is in very, very poor health. So one of the reasons why they didn't go to Kickstarter with this one is they wanted to quickly get it restored and released so that he could see his game brought back for a new generation. Justin Jacobson, the president of Restoration Games, says this game is a tribute to Dr. Solomon's ingenuity. So there you go. It'll be available first at Origins 2019, and then you'll be able to get it at Gen Con, and then retail and everywhere else. But debuting Origins 2019 on June 12th is the first day of Origins, so you can pick it up then. Conspiracy, the Solomon Gambit, coming from Restoration Games. Sounds interesting. I mean, I'd like to check it out. Like I said, I have no attachment to it like I did, the other games that they restored, because those other games I played before. But interesting concept, though.
Now, apparently it was on the recommendation list. Okay, how is it that a game that came out in 73 was on the 1991 recommendation list for the Spiels de Jar?
I said everybody loves this game. People lost their dang mind when they announced this. There was like dancing in the streets, basically, and I'm like, what are you people all excited about? I've never even heard of this game, but apparently this is a very popular game with older gamers, and they are psyched about having this new version.
Yeah, is it that around the same time that a little game called Dungeons and Dragons came out?
Pretty much. Yeah, but one's role-playing, this is tabletop, so...
Yeah. Well, yes, there is that. Then let us head into what's on the screen. And we are going to begin with a little princess. That's right. We have here, what would happen if the Disney princesses played Dungeons and Dragons?
Hilarity is what happens. I found this. I was on YouTube and watching some video. I don't even know what video I was watching. And normally I don't pay attention to like the suggested videos that pop up on the side. But I saw this one and I'm like, what the heck is this? So I watched the first episode and oh my God, I have not laughed in so long. This is so funny. This is exactly what it sounds like. It's called Damsels, Dice, and Everything Nice. It's a group of comedy actors that are dressed up like Disney princesses. Each one play a different princess, and they're playing D&D, and they're playing D&D in like the character of what they would think the Disney princess would do. It's hilarious. It's so funny. Oh my God, it's so funny. Yes, I just go wait till the podcast is over, but after this episode is over, go watch Damsels, Dice, and Everything Nice. It's funny as heck. Oh my God, I laughed so hard.
Yes, so apparently one of them is a Disney. Well, I was about to say one of them was a Disney princess by purchase, but I guess most probably Disney princesses are.
True. Yeah, and that's he's alluding to that Princess Leia is in here too.
Yes.
Because Disney owns Star Wars, so yeah. But yeah, just do yourself a favor and watch it. It's hilarious.
Now I want to know how many of the princesses did you recognize off the bat?
About five 4 or 5 maybe. There was a couple that I'm like, I don't know who you are, but
okay, because obviously Leia I knew, and Jasmine I would know, and I forgot Tiger Lily's name, but I would presume that was Tiger Lily, who was the one with the Indian for Peter Pan. And
I knew Ariel.
Yeah, as the one that I wasn't familiar with Ariel, so yeah, I didn't see the Little Mermaid. So
it's the Little Mermaid, man. It's Ariel, the Little Mermaid. Again, my friends are laughing right now. Another inside joke.
Another inside joke with the Little Mermaid.
Don't ask.
Okay. All right, and then let's see.
And then I knew
we had Aurora.
Yeah, that was the other one that I knew. So yeah, I knew like four, maybe 5.
Yeah, and Snow. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and Snow White, of course. But yeah, but then there's a couple in here that I'm like, no clue.
Okay.
No clue who you are.
I'll have to see it again in order to see if I could identify them a little bit better.
It's hilarious. It's so funny.
I'm trying to think, how about the GM? Is she supposed to be a particular?
No, she's just like the dungeon master. She's just
okay. I didn't know if she was the
dungeon master. I think so. I don't think because if she's trying to be a Disney princess, I don't know who she'd be. So I think she's just the dungeon master.
Okay. Yes, I was trying to see if any of them was Belle, but nothing in there clicked is going with us.
Yeah, I didn't notice a bell right off the top of my head. So yeah, go back and
none of them rang a bell. Okay. So
wow.
Head on to next thing on the screen, and that there is a new Ghostbusters sequel in the works, and that apparently it's being based on the real Ghost.
Yeah, I was super excited about this new Ghostbusters because we all know I'm a huge Ghostbusters fan.
Ooh.
And I'm still trying to wipe the memory of the 2016 pile of flaming dog crap that was the 2016 Ghostbusters movie.
Okay. Which was worse? The 2016 Let's Forget It, or the version 4 Let's Forget It?
The 2016. And before anybody gets up in arms, it was not because it was an all-female cast. I was fine with that. The movie just sucked ass so bad. They just... Anyway, don't get me started on that.
Okay.
Flaming pile of dog turds. Let's concentrate on this new one that nobody saw coming. Sony kind of kept this a secret. It is being developed by Sony Pictures, and as you said, it's going to be set in the original universe. And from all that we know so far, it's going to be a continuation of the 1984 Ghostbusters 2. So it's going to pick up in some way, continue the story there. We're not sure how. The greatest news out of all this is Jason Reitman, who is the original director's son, Ivan Reitman's son, is going to direct the film, and his father, Ivan Reitman, is going to be producing. So it's coming from a good place. And Jason Reitman says, I've always thought of myself as the first Ghostbusters fan. When I was 6 years old and visiting the set, I wanted to make a movie for all the other fans. This is the next chapter in the original franchise. It's not a reboot. What happened in the 80s happened in the 80s. All this is set in the present day. So far, that is all we know. And we don't know if any of the original cast members are going to take part in this. I would hope they would. And I would hope somehow they would also pay homage to Harold Ramis, who unfortunately we lost him in 2014 from autoimmune disease. So I'm hoping they kind of work that in somehow too. But we do have a little short teaser trailer. Not very long. Doesn't show much. It's 45 seconds. We have some sound effects from the original movie. It looks like we see the original Ecto-1 because it has the Ecto-1 original yellow license plate that was from the first movie. We have the music at the start of it was a callback to the first movie when the first movie starts in the library with the ghost. The same music that starts the trailer out is that music that plays. We hear like a wrench and then a proton pack firing up just for like a second, and then it ends. So that's all we get. No idea when it's going to be out other than summer of 2020 is all it says. But, oh my God, I'm so excited.
I'm wondering if this is going to somehow involve the kid that, where the opening of Ghostbusters 2, where you had where you had the baby carriage going down the street and then stopping on top
Oh,
of the
good
place that was
call
haunted?
out, Pine Leaf. I didn't even think of that. Oh, maybe. Because you never see, and like the car is in this barn and it's under tarps, and the tarps just lift up a little bit, but you never see who's working on the proton pack or who has the cars, so we don't know who. Oh, good call, Pine Leaf. It could be.
We'll see.
We will see. But yeah, summer of 2020 is all we know. So hopefully we'll get some more news. And of course, once there's an actual official real trailer, I'll be sure to post about it on the site. But I'm super excited about Ghostbusters 3.
Well, wouldn't we all be excited for when we get an official IMDb page for it that has a full cast on it?
That too, yes. All in due time, Pine Leaf. All in due time.
All in good time. Then let's go and have a look at what we did this week. And I'm sure that you were all busy gaming, right?
Maybe. A little bit of gaming happened. Of course, I played with you, so I'll let you talk about that. The biggest thing I did in DDO this week is my Bastani Rogue Knife Fighter, who's level 13. The three amigos played yet again. It's been a while since Rent and Tay and I played, but we jumped back in. We ran the Halls of Chanticleer quest line. We did that on Elite. We just did it for favor. We basically zerged the quest because we just wanted to get a little bit of favor, so that's all we ran that for. Then after we got that out of the way and got the favor that we wanted, we decided we were going to start Ravenloft because we are, a little bit over level, but we're basically level-ish appropriate for Ravenloft. So we decided to do that. We're running them all on Elite. We ran the Into the Mess quest, and then we started the In the Shadow of the Castle storyline with Death House. And I still got to say, Death House is the most amazing quest ever. That is like my favorite quest in DDO, bar none. I love Death House so much. So it's fun going back in Ravenloft because it's been a while since I ran through the Mist of Ravenloft. So that's what we'll be doing in that for a little while. And then I also played some D&D 5e, and that was on the D&D Kasplat night. We talked about it when we talked about the Chronicle a little bit. We managed to go in and clear out the fortress that we were trying to get the merchant to. If you want to see a group of people playing D&D and rolling very crappily all night long, watch this episode.
That bad.
It was just bad roll after bad roll after bad roll. Yeah. That one of our rounds of combat took probably twice as long as it should have because everybody was rolling so low, nobody was hitting. I think we ran 2 rounds where nobody got a hit in on the monster whatsoever because everybody was rolling. So it was horrible. It was a bad rolling night. So if you want to see people rolling very badly, check out that episode that's now available to watch. And we're going to be playing in a couple more weeks, and we're going to see what happens next because all we had to do was get the merchant there, and we got him there. So who knows what's going to happen next? Patrick is still trying to kill us. We're still alive. We have still thwarted his plans to kill us, but we'll see for how long. And then that's really all I did. I had another kind of weird, busy week. So what'd you do, Pineley? I'm sure you did a lot.
I'll begin with what I did with you, where on my Wood Elf Druid, we went into 3 Barrel Cove, and there we ran Brood of Flame and Ghost of a Chance.
Yeah, I haven't done this question forever.
Yeah, Ghost of a Chance, which was saying, oh, yeah, because I don't think I had done that one before, because I would have thought that I would have remembered it if I'd done it before.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised when you had said you didn't ever remember doing that quest.
Because it has a puzzle, which as soon as I saw that room, I understood why Dracula made it sound like it was one of the most crazy puzzles ever created in the history of the game.
Yep, I usually do the fighting route in that quest. I'm like, screw that puzzle. I'll just go fight.
Yeah, there's a possibility that we could have done it once before and we were short in time and just looked at this thing and said, oh, okay, oh, we'll do it your way or something. But this time we went, yeah, because it took me, let's just say, some time to figure out that entire thing. But that was the most complicated tile puzzle I'd ever seen in DDO.
To Pine Leaf's credit, he did solve it. It was I was impressed because I didn't think he was going to be able to do it, but he did. He solved it. And if you're not familiar with Ghost of a Chance, that is the quest where the guy is like locked in the cage, and then the puzzle basically takes up the whole room, takes up the floors and the walls, and then it kind of shoots over from like section to section, and it's stupid complicated.
Oh, yeah.
And Pine Leaf figured the dang thing out.
A lot by brute force, I have to admit, but I managed to do it in, let's say, under an hour or something.
Yeah, I forgot how long it took us, and I would say the bulk of that was actually the puzzle. But I mean, good on you for figuring it out. I was darn right impressed. I thought I finally found a puzzle that was going to best you.
Yeah, and I admit there were 1 or 2 points in there where I'd say maybe I should do this on my own sometime later just to see if I could figure it out. But because I know Drac is just standing there saying, oh, la la la.
Yeah, there was like I like went and like got my laundry out and put it in the dryer, and I took some laundry out of the dryer and I folded some laundry, and I'm like, are you done yet? Nope. All right, good. I'll be back.
And I do remember though you were very helpful in the point where you detected where all the mines were.
Oh yes. That was my one and only job, and I did it well. I just ran around, and because I have the nothing is hidden skill maxed out on my rogue, so just when I run by hidden stuff, I see it, and I'm like, okay, hold on, and I just ran around the room. I'm like, there you go, all the mines are out for you to see. You're welcome. I'm helping.
Yeah. Well, actually, it did, because knowing which mines are trapped is an important feature in helping one to figure out, okay, now I know what to avoid once I figured out, all right, this thing is all about going through those and not going through those and getting dizzy. And especially since you're going back to one quadrant to another quadrant and all that stuff, it's not exactly obvious where the points are, where it goes from one side of the room to the other.
But like I said, kudos to you for actually figuring that out and doing it. You actually impressed me, finally. Because I thought, there ain't no way he's going to be able to do this. But sure enough. Sure enough.
Yeah, it's either stay up till midnight or go to the fight.
It was like so amazing, though, because at one point it just clicked. And I could tell it clicked with him, and he got it figured out. Yeah. Because, I mean, he literally had a aha moment.
Yes. But then still took the brute force of getting it fixed after that. But okay.
He did it, though. Good on you, sir. Good on you.
So despite that, it was Drac who leveled as a result of that quest.
Yeah, it was, actually. Yeah, because Pine Leaf's like, did I just hear the level ding? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, well, I'm not even close. I'm like, don't know what to tell you.
Right. So as a result of that, today I went into the harbor.
I wondered what you were going to do, because, yeah, you said you were going to try to hit 6.
Yeah. So I ran Home Sweet Sewer. Did all these quests that we skipped in the harbor.
Mm-hmm.
Garrison's
there you go,
missing, Garrison's missing pack. And the ones that were, like Home Sweet Sewer, which is solo, obviously, I couldn't change that. But the ones I could change the level to, I bumped them up one level and ran them at hard mode and ran all those.
Nice.
And then the Butcher's Path at hard. Miller's Debt was a solo one. Then I went to the Waterworks and went to see how many kills I can get and what rare mobs I could find in there. And I actually found I managed to find the 2 that we did not when we were going through there.
Oh, nice.
So I managed to find all the locations where I keep on forgetting that the rares can appear in one or two locations when they do appear. Because I ran into Ekru way down at one end and that's not where I usually run into Ekru. So, and that was the final boss I needed, was that stupid spider. Then that left me a sliver, tiny, infinitesimal amount away from getting to level 6. So I then ran an explosive situation, which was enough to put me over.
Oh, nice, cool. So we're both 6 now, and I think we did figure out what happened. It's Pineleaf. I found out he's not doing his daily dice on this particular character, and I was doing my daily dice, so I think it was the whole dice situation that was getting me more experience. So I am now going to do my dice on a different character. So we should stay even from now on.
How far were you past level 6 when we...
I do not even remember, to tell you the truth. Okay. Like, not very far. I mean...
All right.
I wasn't too far in.
All right. Then, so I took care of that. That got me to 6. I did go through and visited the trainer, so I have all of my leveling stuff done. So if you happen to be in and want to do that, you could do that between.
Okay. Yep.
Also note that I did that. I did buy a cleric. I noticed that there are 2 level 6 clerics, and I decided that since you like drow, I'll leave the drow to you. So I left the drow for you to get.
Cool. Perfect.
Okay. Yeah, I figured that would be what you would probably go for anyway. So
yeah, that's the one I usually buy. So yeah, perfect.
Then I went into my Dragonborn. Actually, I did this early on there, where I went to the marketplace because I wanted to get up to level... I'm trying to get to level 11 on the Dragonborn, since I've done all the quests in Barovia several times. So I ran Black and Blue.
Oh, I haven't done that quest in forever.
Yeah, and all right. That's what left me, I think, is the best way of putting it, because I got to the boss fight, and that black dragon, I couldn't get past the black dragon. And of course, when I finished it, now maybe if I had put my revive point somewhere near at a location somewhere else, I might have been able to get in time to do that. But when I found that I popped in Barovia, I said,
"Whoops."
Okay, no, not going to bother going through again on there. So I was in Barovia. So I ran some Barovian landscapes there, trying to kill mobs and trying to find those crazy scrolls. I have never gotten anywhere near finding all the scrolls in the Barovian landscape.
I have not either, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe what these new characters are doing, that should be one of our goals, actually.
Yeah, one of our goals is to find all those crazy ones in there. Because there are a couple of points in there where it gets dodgy when I'm going through the landscape, so I try to be rather cautious in there when I'm going in there solo. That's another reason, because it seems like I sometimes think that my specs get worse and worse, because I think that if I go another year of playing this game, I might actually be able to win the Die in Misery's Peak challenge. Because by that time my spec would just be so bad that I therefore decided, after going through the Barovian landscape and saw how much I would have to do in order to get to the next XP level, I headed into the sands of Menactaran, and while in there I hit level 11, which means that soon I'll be ready to head out and go into the next phase of Barovia.
Sweet.
Then in Arkham Horror, the card game, I continued my Forgotten Age campaign. So I ran Threads of Fate, The Boundary Beyond, Heart of the Elders, and the City of Archives. And I finished the City of Archives a touch insane, so that ended my campaign with 2 more scenarios to go, but no, I didn't quite survive long enough. We're talking Arkham Horror here, right?
Of course, going to say that's par for the course.
Yes, occasionally it seemed like it was. There are a couple of scenarios where I seem to do well, and others where I feel like I'm getting torn up. And the City of Archives was definitely one where things were getting torn up. I think the final blow was when my character's personal weakness came up and was dragging me all throughout this round, and this was not an exploration heavy one. I mean, that's the type of my personal weakness of my character was that you must go to a new location and get clues from there, and successfully investigate it. And yeah, all that was doing was wasting turns for me.
Oh, jeez.
So the game came up with me, and I just went bonkers. But that was quite an interesting campaign, and it was a very interesting style of doing it because I was used to playing characters where a lot of what I did is when I ran into monsters, I would normally try to fight them. And that's what I did through, I think, all my previous campaigns. But this character had a combat value of 1.
Oh, good grief.
But a great evade ability. So whenever I came upon any monsters, I would evade them. And so, of course, I'm leaving all these monsters on the board. I would rarely be getting victory points because I won't get victory points because the monsters weren't killed. But this one also had another item which was something. I had another thing in addition to victory points called vengeance points, and that you didn't really like getting. And I had very few of those. I've been way below, I think, than what they would expect you to have with this because I never killed any monsters.
Oh, jeez.
so that was probably the most I ever went in a campaign. I don't know. I think I might have literally gone through the entire campaign without killing a single monster. It's possible I might have killed 1, but that's at most.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. And 6 scenarios in Arkham Horror, the card game, without killing any monsters. If you asked me a month ago, I would say it would be impossible. So that means now I have to think of what scenario I would be doing next in there. Then in Minecraft, I built an underwater shrine there, a little bit of water shrine. It was in the swamp. So I had it inside the swamp, and it was a nice underground area. So I included an underwater entrance. There was no above water entrance to this or anything like this. So I'd have to dive down into it. And I decided to put a conduit in there. So if I ever needed to go into that area again, I'll be able to breathe on the water and all that fun stuff. So that was a interesting thing in there. I went through there, built this shrine on there, said, what could be a nice touch to add to it? Then I remembered, oh yeah, I got this conduit 6 months. Well, maybe we haven't been open for, let's say 3 or 4 months ago, where I got this conduit thing. I haven't done anything with it, and finally I found something to do with it, and I thought that really worked well for that particular build. And then in my railroad challenge, I tried to update my station interchanges to be in a more convenient methodology so I could change what I was doing. And what I did in the end might have actually made things worse than they were before, because I accidentally set this thing up so that I had a station which I had my switches set so that I would always be bypassing the station. No, that wasn't my intention. So So I had to think of a better way of handling that particular situation. We currently have 21 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to help support DDO players, then simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention on the podcast your choice, or be guest with us for an episode of DDO Players News. And we did not receive any emails this week, but if you'd like to send us one, you can send it to podcast@ddoplayers.com. You can also follow us on Twitter, the Players Alliance at Players Ally, DDO Players at DDO Players, Draculetta at Draculetta_72, and Pineleaf at Pineleaf Needles. And you can follow Draculetta on Twitch at Draculetta_72. So based on what you've been giving me in this, I don't think you did any live streams or
I have not. No, not recently. I always forget. I'll have to try to remember when we play Monday to start streaming.
And also if you're participating in somebody else's stream, you could always host so that anyone who's following you might not be following the place where you're playing at.
That's true.
They could then follow you on there. The Players Alliance has 2 live shows every Thursday at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have DDO Players News, unless we are delayed because Dracula is doing something else. And every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Locho Players News. And you can join us for our live shows at ddoplayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight. And this is Pilot Mules reminding you to quest responsibly.